Yo, what it do? What it do? What it do? Has the rivalry been renewed between the AFC West Chargers and the Raiders? Who will win the battle of the rookie receivers? You know, well, I don't know why that did that. Who will win the battle of the rookie receivers? Will it be Jack Beck, Dante Thornton, a guy like Trey Harris drafted in the second round, I believe right before Jack Beck? Will it be a guy like Pat Bryant? Will it be a guy like Jalen Royals? Who will step up? Who will win that battle? 5 things I need to know, and I'm sure you need to know before OTAs end. Let's break it down. Let's get unleashed, baby.
Artlist.io.
I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bets. Cause we know where we at, we know we top tier. Cause all the hate that you bring, we know it stops here. I'm taking off like a rocketeer and stopping here.
Music licensing reimagined.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look,
Artlist.io.
always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. We already know that we the coldest. Watch me heat it up, let me focus. I'm going toe to toe with foes. I know they notice. I kick in doors, they only hope for closing. Why? Cause they know I go again. And when they get it right, I'm the one that can make it flow again. Talk to me nice, my team they ready to go again.
Music licensing reimagined.
We don't talk, better know the grind gon' match my walk. I'm a cheat code, I don't take no loss. Making no sense, run up the scope. Cause all I do is win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look,
Artlist.io.
win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I'm winning again and again and again, and it's all on repeat. I'ma just sit at the top cause I'm running it, dog. On me, I don't know defeat. Had to get back on the phone. I told them don't play with my name cause I know that it rings. They want my spot at the top with I'ma always win.
Raiders, man, if you pumped up about this upcoming season in OTAs, hit them thumbs up. I'm your host, Raiders Rebel. Welcome to another episode of Raiders Unleashed. Let's get into it, man. 5 things I need to know, and I'm sure you need to know before OTAs are over. Not in any order, maybe possibly in an order, I don't know. First, let's get into the chat. Chat lives matter. I see all kinds of stuff popping up in here. First in the building, Robert Penna, my guy, always supporting the channel, man. I appreciate you popping in. Unleashing addiction. I hope you're getting rid of that addiction if you have one. Appreciate you dropping in, always being part of the show. Salute to you. Unleashing addiction with the $1.99 vibes. Glad we vibing in the building. Joanna. There used to be a song, I don't know who sang it, but shout out to you. Member for 2 months. Damn. Appreciate you, the love and support. Also, as a member, isn't it your birthday today? So, happy birthday to you. I hope you have a blessed day and all your birthday wishes come true when you blow out the candle. Appreciate you rocking with your guy. Marcus Banks in the building. What it do? Joanna with the $2. Hey you. What's good? Appreciate it. Thank you so much for the love and support. And that funny little dancing dude. You got some cool ass glasses. Sorry, I was paying attention to that. But yeah, let's get into it. Y'all give Joanna a shout out. Birthday wishes. All right, 5 things I need to know, man. Let's just break it down right off the top, and then we'll get into the rookie battles. 5 things I want to see that I need to know before OTAs are over. Who is going to be running back 3 and 4? You know, we have a couple guys in the building. Hold up. Get my shit back up here. Not what I'm looking at. All right. So, you know, we have a couple running backs in the building. We have Sincere McCormick. We have a lot of people call Zeus. I don't know if he still has that nickname. Hopefully he can get it back. We need him to get it back, right? We need to have another powerful, dominant guy that can run up the middle. Not really his strength, but hopefully he can get that popping. We have Dylan Labe, you know, 1 carry, 1 fumble. Not on the graces of Raider Nation. Then we have Chris Collier. He's done a couple lives, played in a couple games. Some people think he has a chance to make the roster. You know, I think the chances are slim and none for 2 of these guys. Maybe even 3, you know. We don't know what's going to happen June 1st when people start getting released and cut from other teams. Maybe they pick up another guy. Maybe one of these guys emerges the back. So that's what I want to see. You know, who's going to be on the roster, on the running back? Who's going to be that 3rd and 4th guy? That 3rd down back? Is it going to be Raheem Mostert, or is it going to be a guy like Sincere McCormick? Is it going to be a guy like, you know, Zamir White? Who's going to be that go-to guy in 3rd down, in short situations, in goal line? Hopefully in those short situations we see a lot of my guy JJ Pegas. That's who I feel is going to be, you know, pounding the rock in those short goal line situations. But 3rd down passing situations, to me, the best receiver that we have in the backfield is Dylan Labe. Question it if you want to, but the kid, his hands are like glue, man. He catches everything. Will he get an opportunity? Does he have, you know, probably not. I don't really see that. If he makes this roster, it's going to be on special teams, and he's probably going to, you know, have to work his way up in practice to get that opportunity. So that's what I want to see, which one of these guys step up. Let me know in the comments below who you think is going to step up and be that guy. You know, are the 4 guys on this roster. We already know Ashton, Jeanty, Raheem Mostert. Is he a lock? Can somebody, you know, outdo him in OTAs? That's a huge question. A guy like Sincere McCormick had a good year last year, but has issues staying healthy. Can this man stay healthy, you know, so he can contribute to this offense? That's a question. So let me know who it is. Sincere McCormick, Zamir White, Dylan Labe, Chris Collier. I'll give you my 4. To me, if it was me, I'm keeping Jeanty. I'm keeping Mostert. I'm keeping Zamir White. Yes, I said it. I'm keeping Zamir White. Pete Carroll believes in second chances. You know, he believes in giving guys opportunities, building teams, you know, around them, putting them in the correct system. I think in a Chip Kelly system, they like to use a lot of 2 backs. And I think, you know, one of these guys, Sincere or Zamir, is going to step up. Both of these guys have health issues. You know, Zamir played in 66 snaps last year. That's not a lot of snaps. You got to stay healthy. You got to get on the grass. So, for me, Ashton Jeanty, Raheem Mostert, I believe it's going to be Zamir White and Dylan Labe. Yes, I said it, Dylan Labe. He just brings so many different things, you know, to this backfield. He can pass. We need somebody that can catch, you know, out of the backfield. I know Jeanty can, but how much are they going to use this man as a rookie right off the rip, trying to put him out, you know, catching the ball, running the ball? My guy Lawrence, was good. Shout out to you in the building. Hawaiian Candy, was good. Appreciate you pulling up. So that's what I want to see. Then next up, we have, you know, the wide receiver battle. Who's going to be that guy, that 5th guy, that 6th guy? Do we know who the 3rd guy is? Do we know who the 4th guy is? I kind of feel like I have my opinion on who it's going to be, but let me know in the chat. Who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think we more than likely keeping 6 receivers? I don't see it being less than that. If it's over than that, If it's more than that, over than that, what the hell kind of word is that? If it's more than that, it's a damn good reason. I believe it's because, you know, they couldn't make a decision, and a lot of these receivers showed flashes where they believed, you know, they couldn't let him go. So whether they, you know, kick him to the practice squad, use him as special teams, that will be determined later. We never know in a Pete Carroll, you know, system. They could very well have 7 receivers. I don't know. But to do that, like I said, you're going to have 7 guys that are very, very close in the competition. But if we're going, you know, my 4 guys that I believe are a lock, I mean, it's Jack Beck, it's Jacoby Meyer, it's Dante Thornton. And then I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, Trey Tucker produced last year. He had almost 5 yards on 46 catches, but he had 81 attempts. That's a lot of drop balls. You know, I hear Trey's killing it in camp. That's a damn good sign. So he could possibly be that guy. But then you have guys behind him, like a Cedric Jackson, who is Bo Jackson's nephew. Yes, the great Bo Jackson. You know, Cedric Jackson has been clocked at a 4.25 40. That's the fastest receiver on our team, if that's true. Now, he's been clocked also at a 4.32. That still puts you up there in the speed. Can we keep him, you know, throw him a roster spot and, you know, possibly use him as special teams in the kick return, punt return game? I think he would be nasty in punt return. If you go watch film on him, there's not a lot, or I would have showed more. But Cedric Jackson is, you know, he has the speed. He has the size. He's 6 foot. He's over 200 pounds, I believe, at 205. So he kind of like a DJ Turner from last year. You know, he gives us that aspect, speed, a little bit of power. He's a guy I really believe, you know, if he could just flash, if he could just catch the ball, not drop the ball much, he could be a guy that, you know, that squeezes in there. And then you have a guy like Zamir Franklin, you know, a smaller guy, kind of a speedster, could be that, you know, slot route, could be a special teams guy. You have a guy like Alex Bachman, you know, played special teams last year, helped out kick returns, punt returns, also got, you know, some burn as a wide receiver last year. Where does he fit in? He's a guy that, you know, you can use in a lot of situations and a lot of key spots. Does he make the team this year? Then you got a guy like Kyle Phillips that they brought in, you know, was a Chip Kelly kind of guy. Played with Chip Kelly in UCLA. Chip Kelly knows him. Does he also make the squad? That's a huge, huge question. Then you also have Keytron, however you say it, Jackson Jr., you know, another guy that I don't know much about, I'm not going to lie. But does he has potential, you know, to make the practice squad, to be one of those guys that could potentially, you know, fill in if something happens to one of the 6 guys they keep? That is a question. So Trey Tucker, I'm questioning. I'm really questioning. And, you know, let's not forget Tommy Malott Tommy Malott also runs in the 4.3s from what I understand. Athletic as hell. Does this guy find his way as a receiver? I believe so. I don't think they would have drafted him where they drafted him if they didn't see the upside, if they didn't see the ceiling in this guy. So for me, I hope Trey Tucker makes the team. You know, he was drafted a Raider. This organization with the guys that we've brought in a Spytek, in a Pete Carroll, even, you know, other guys that we brought in, player personnel, they believe in keeping guys in-house, you know, but they have to be worthy. They're not just keeping guys in-house to keep giving chance after chance after chance if they're not producing on the field. So Trey Tuck had his flashes. You know, so that's a damn good battle right there. Also, there's one more guy I'm forgetting. Cedric Jackson. Oh, Colin Johnson. Another guy that, has that size, has pretty good breakaway, pretty good get off from what I've seen on film. Another guy that, has a chance to make noise and make this team. Like, I know we're, like I said, probably keeping 6 wide receivers, but, we still need guys on the practice squad. So, oh shit, don't do that. Next up, and let me know your comments. Let me know who you think makes it. Who's your 6 receivers? Guess I could pull them up, put them on the board. Dab and Gab. all day. So yeah, if I'm going with my top 6 receivers that I believe make this team, I think it's Jacoby Myers. I think it's Jack Beck. I think Trey Tucker makes the team, but I believe they might give him a chance, at kick returns or punt returns or special teams if one of these guys outplay him. I believe Dante Thornton makes the team. I believe Tommy Malott makes the team. That's 5. That leaves 1 spot out of Alec Bachman, Zakir Franklin, Cedric Jackson. I mean, there's a lot of guys. Keyshawn Smith, Katron Jackson, Kyle Phillips. That's a pretty good battle. So that's what I'm watching in camp. That's what I want to see. Which one of these guys are stepping up? Which one of these guys can perform when the pads come on, right? When you're getting smacked in the mouth. That's a key matchup. That's what I want to see. That's, huge for the success of this team for Geno Smith, is who are going to be the guys he's throwing the ball to, right? Are they guys that drop the ball? Are they guys that dive for passes? Are they guys, that don't see the ball well when it's incoming? Are they guys that catch the ball with their body? Or are they, like I think pretty much everybody on this roster, except for maybe 2 or 3, pretty much catch the ball, with their hands. They don't let the ball get to their body. They attack the ball, which you should. So I believe it's going to be a damn good battle at receivers. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Next up, the biggest one to me. And the next one is pretty big, but I think the depth is better. But anyways, the next spot is the quarterback battle, man. Not quarterback, cornerback, right? Y'all might misheard me. Cornerback battle. That is going to be a tough spot. Can Eric Stokes, step up and be that guy like I talked about last night, like everybody thought he was going to be, drafted in the first round? A first round talent, you have a lot of weight on your shoulders. The man hasn't stayed healthy. Can this be the team and the spot where he regains, that caliber of play where he was drafted? That's a huge question. Then we have, Darian Porter. All eyes are on Darian Porter. All eyes are on Omarion Richardson, Mello Dotson, right? John Humphreys, Jonathan Sutherland, which I kind of like this kid Sutherland, to be honest with you. Grady Vance also. Let's not forget about Grady Vance, Kai Blue Kelly, Sam Webb, guys I didn't get to yesterday because I got off the live a little early. I didn't want to stay on too long. Darnay Holmes. These are all nickelbacks, right? Darnay, Sam Webb, Kai Blue Kelly, Vance Grady. Do these guys make it at nickel, or do one of these guys, playing left or right, which on the Raiders, we heard a lot last year and the year before that they don't really have a left and a right corner. They, PG mixes it up. He puts guys on both sides. I didn't see that a lot last year. That's what they say, right? That's what they say. So the cornerback position is really up for grabs. It's really up for grabs. I talked about it last night. Darian Porter has been getting, cornerback 1 looks, right? Going against the toughest guys. The receiver 1 on the offense. That's a big step. That's a big sign for him, for them putting that pressure. Can he produce when the pads come on? can he learn the system enough? I believe he's athletic enough. He has the speed. The man seems like he's sticky like glue. So if he becomes corner number one, then we have a lot of questions, right? A lot of questions. Where do you move? Right, where do you move Ja'Cory Bennett? Does Omarion Richardson take that next step? So these are all guys that I'm watching. They pretty much have it. Eric Stokes, Ja'Cory Bennett, and Darnay Holmes. Those are our starters. That's how it's listed as of now. So which guys step up? Which guys take that next step and say, look, I want this job, bro. This is my spot, right? I'm not giving it up. Sam Webb's been on this team. This is going in his third year in a Patrick Graham system. Darnay Holmes, this will be his second. Kai Blue Kelly, half a year last year. Grady Vance out of UCLA. First year as a rookie. One of these guys, are one of these guys going to be nickel is what I'm trying to say. Or if Darian Porter takes that number one spot, do they move Ja'Cory Bennett inside? Is Ja'Cory that nickel back? Is it Eric Stokes? Is it Omarion Richardson? These are questions I want answers. So these are the guys I'm looking at. These are the guys I'm watching for. This is what I want to see when it comes down to, camp. Before camp is out, before we get into preseason. And then last but not least, right? Who's going to step up and take C. Wilkes' place, Christian Wilkins? If he can't go, if he starts the season on IR, who's going to step up and be that guy? Now, that's a lot of talk from a lot of content creators, a lot of writers. James Furpo in the building. What it do? So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Receivers. We'll get into the last one. Christian Wilkins. Let me get into this chat before it gets too wild. I appreciate y'all commenting. I have known Rebel for 20. Yeah, I don't. Looking at the chat. If there's no hashtags, then it's kind of hard for me to answer questions. I don't know if y'all talking to yourself. If you're talking to me, shout out Robert Pena, dropping people's links in the chat. My guy, the mod father. Have the gift of gab. I have the gift of dabs. I like dabs. Alright. Let's read through this fast. Try to say I was promoting and sell. What? Alright. Rambling. Who's that? On my first break, stop to yell Raiders Furbo in the building. Shout out for you stopping in on your break, my guy. You're probably not here anymore, but if you watch the replay, shout out to you, my brother. Told you Rebel don't read the chat. I always read the chat. What are you talking about? Sometimes just later. Sooner than later. Later than sooner. He reads the chat backwards. No, I started at the top this time. Finally deal. What's the deal with Wilkins? Do you know, Rebel? From what I hear, there's a big possibility that he might not be ready come camp, and he might, have to start the season on IR. We heard Coach talk about it. Pete Carroll, he said it's a tricky situation. He had a boot on, he had a boot off, he had it back on. So obviously he re-injured it in rehab, and now he's on the process of the second rehab, from what I know. So that's a big question, man. It's a big question. Will he be ready? They said they're going to take it slow. We have 2 months, 3 months before the season starts or whatever, till September. So don't look to see him out there in camp, which is, not a good sign. Don't look to see him out there probably in the preseason. And if he's not ready day one, look for him to be on IR. That's what I think. Where's Piano Man? I mean, superpowers. I mean, Piano Man. He's watching Raider film right now. He's trying to brush up on his Raider knowledge. Oh shit. Sorry, Rebel, I'm not chatting much. I have to get schoolwork done. Well, yeah, that's shit. That's most important, yo. Get schoolwork done. So everybody talking about me not listening to the chat. There's like no questions. Kenna has one question about football. What else did I miss? Are you planning to do any games in Vegas? Oh, yes, I am planning. I'm still in the process of planning. I'm trying to decide. Like I said, I really want to be at the home opener, the Chargers game, Monday Night Football in Allegiant Stadium. If I don't make any game this year, that's where I want to be at. But more than likely, I will be home in Arkansas by then. I'm trying to debate. Do I really want to stay that long in Arizona? Or do I want to go home to the house in Arkansas, in the country, where there's humidity and not dry heat, where I'm not dying? But yes, I have plans to go to Rebel games. I have no Raider games. I have no tickets bought yet. Still debating on which games. Sometimes, kind of like to see how the season starts before I book my tickets. A lot of money in travel, man. It's a lot of money in time. So, but yes, I will be at some games, and as soon as it is booked and I know where I'm going to be for a fact, I will definitely talk about it, because I would definitely want to meet everybody. And again, I've been trying to listen in, to see what everybody else is talking about, what games they're going to. So, yeah, I'm trying to get to one. It's going to be a party one of these days, but I'm really hoping for the party at the season opener would be a blast. That's where I'm at so far. What is up with y'all? Raider Ryan, what's good? What it do, my guy? Peace out, Hawaiian Candy. Gotta get in the shower. Yep. Watch that cootie. Bye, bitch. What's good, Raider Ryan? What's going on, my brother? How's work? You at work today? Stopping in your break time? Who you spanking, Jonah? What the hell? I want spankings. I've been a bad boy. Always been a bad boy. But you should be getting spankings. I'm not going to ask you how old you are because that's personal information. But you should be getting some ass whippings today. Somebody should be bending you over and giving you those birthday spankings. That's just my opinion. That's my take on it. Rebel, do you eat with a fork or a spoon or a spork? Depends on what I'm eating, Robert Pena. Depends on what I'm eating. Sometimes I eat with my hands. So, probably mainly a fork. I don't know. I like stabbing shit. Driving back to California for a funeral, my best friend and fellow Raider fan. Oh, damn. Condolences, prayers to you, to his family. Don't really know what else to say, man, but sorry to hear that. Be safe on your drive. Man. Well, that brings the mood down. Raiders for life. I'm not bueno. What it do, my guy? Appreciate you dropping in. Where we at? I'll be at the Donkeys game here in Colorado. Is that the Thursday night football game? Because I would love, if I can't do anything this year, I would love none other than to make both primetime games. Been to a lot of games. I don't recall any primetime games I think I missed out on the prime time. So that's my goal. That's my goal. I want to be a game. Prime time, TV, Monday night, Thursday night. If it's the Thursday night game, let me know. Would definitely love to be at that. That sounds like a blast. Actually, if I just go back to my own screen. Hold up. Let me try this. The Broncos game. At the Broncos. Week 14. It doesn't say if it's prime time or not. Damn it. Well, shit. I'm just saying. I'm just pricky. What does pricky mean? Prickly? Oh. Oh, you gotta shave. I got you. Hey, calm down with that trying to talk in the chat. There might be children in here. Jeez Louise. All right, so the Christian Wilkins, man. I talked about it, been about it. That's how I feel, you know. If he's not ready, I don't see him rushing it. But that means somebody has to step up. And who is going to be that somebody, right? Does Leaky Fotu make the team? Does Tonka Hemingway? Does Zach Carter make the team? Is it a guy like Tank Barrett, Booker? You know, Lackey Tossie. They talks about, you know, they've been working him on the offense. Does the man move to the offensive side of the ball? That leaves, you know, one more opening. I talked about it last night. I believe 5 defensive linemen, with Tyree Wilson being that rotation guy that can play edge and defensive line. You know, pretty much all spots I believe you can fill that man in if you have to, but that's only if you have to. So I believe they go 5 defensive tackles, maybe 6 defensive tackles, and 3 edge rushers. That would leave a lot of questions. However, the guys behind Christian Wilkins are, let's just keep moving. Like I just talked about, Leaky Fotu, I don't know how to pronounce it right, sorry. Tonka Hemingway, which I believe is going to make a push to get a lot of grass time on this team. He is a guy you can put in, you know, to get double teams, to handle the double teams. Strong, powerful guy that could, you know, that can get to the quarterback. But again, mostly taking on double teams, right? Opening holes for linebackers to get through the gaps. That's what Tonka Hemingway is going to bring to this team. And it's going to help this team a whole lot. Then a guy like Zach Carter, we talked about flashes last year. I think Zach Carter had flashes last year where he showed, you know, he can be powerful. He has a pretty decent get off. He can get to the quarterback. You know, he can make noise back there and make guys have to, you know, adjust their throws and shit. So I believe it's another guy, you know, names to watch. Guys that are going to be working for that spot, right? When you know your number one guy, Christian Wilkins, isn't there, that moves somebody up. Like I said, if he goes on IR at the beginning of the season, that's at least 4 games, I believe, he has to miss. And then, you know, you have to get back in football shape. So Christian Wilkins could miss a lot of the season if he's not ready. I don't know how much football shape you can get in if you're wearing a boot. You can do all the walking, you can do all the weightlifting, you know, you can do all the yoga shit. But the running and the running, you can't in a boot, right? If your foot is injured, if your ankle's injured, which he had surgery on, we know, and then he had a setback, there could be a very big possibility that Christian Wilkins misses most of the season again this year. And by most, I mean probably 7-8 games, which, you know, that's half the season, in my opinion, up there, right? But then on the other side, you got Adam Butler. You know, do they keep Adam Butler at that right defensive tackle? Do they move him over to the left? Behind him, they have my guy Jonah Lalu, which I I expect big things from Jonah Lalu this year. I expect this man to come out and ball his ass off. He showed flashes last year. He could get to the quarterback. He can stop the run. He doesn't give up on plays. I've seen this man chasing quarterbacks 15 yards downfield. I've seen him come up and tackle running backs who nobody could catch, 10 yards down the field after people missed and whiffed on him. So I expect big things from Jonah Lalu. I expect this guy to earn more reps with his play, and with Christian Wilkins being out, that's just, one more opportunity for this guy to step up and get more grass time. And the more grass time Jonah Lalu gets, the better I believe he's going to be. So behind him, you have Andre Carter. Oh, that was Zach Carter. So I messed up with Zach Carter earlier at left defensive tackle. I apologize. Andre Carter last year played very, very well. Got to the quarterback. You heard everything I said. It was just the wrong Carter. I'm not going to say it all over again. But he had flashes, right? He's a big guy, massive up there on the line. They kept him around for a reason. Re-signed him to another contract, right? Because I think he was only signed to a 1-year deal. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then behind him, behind Jonah Lalu, you have JJ Pegues, which I believe is, this guy is going to earn his reps. He's going to earn his time and can possibly, slide up there to the left side. I think he can play both sides, right? He can play the 3 technique, the 4 technique, 5. It doesn't matter. You can put this guy anywhere on the defensive line. He's athletic. He played tight end. He played fullback. I don't know why that's not on. So look for JJ Pegues, in my opinion, to get a lot of grass time. And if he can produce, if he can get to the quarterback, if he can make noise in this offseason, in training camp, in the preseason, look for this guy to get a lot of reps. And if he doesn't, Jason Ruiz, what's good? Cerebral Palsy Gamer, what's good, my guy? Appreciate you popping in. Hey, y'all go check out Cerebral Palsy Gamer channel. He interviewed me the other day, not live, behind the scenes. I think it's dropping, he said today, maybe tomorrow. So go check out the interview. Go check out his channel. Salute to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Look for more stuff between us coming out. But yeah, y'all go show him some love. Like, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I'd appreciate it. After that, we have Trevin May, right? Trevin May is a guy I already said I do not know a lot about. Last night I was supposed to do homework, but I started this live, was already booked and scheduled, so I didn't get to that. Maybe later tonight we can watch film together. I'll probably be back on. Not guaranteed, but I may be back on. Same late time, 8, 9 o'clock for the people that don't make it in this live today. But Trevin May, from what I've seen, is a guy that can get to the quarterback. He can eat up space, which we need in the run. Definitely. We need guys that can eat up space. And then Lackey Tossie. So out of those 10 guys, which guys do you think, are going to make this roster? If we're going inside, out of those 10 guys, Christian Wilkins, man, I hope he's healthy. Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler. Again, let me say this before you make your decision. It already dropped. Sweet. So yeah, the video's out. Y'all go check it out. Good interview. Good questions. Yeah, my new friend, Sarah Palsy Gamer. Go check out Jay stuff. What else? What was I gonna say? I forgot. Oh yeah. So with Christian Wilkins, does this man, if he does get put on the IR, that opens up another roster spot, at least for the 4 weeks, 5 weeks, however long he's out. that opens up another roster spot. And then when he comes back, you can just move that guy, to the practice squad, or if he's producing, obviously you have to move somebody else to the practice squad. But yeah, that brings up, a lot of questions on the defensive line, but I'm not as worried with the defensive front this year as I was last year with everybody getting hurt. Missing 6 guys most of the season, all starters, all played more than 60-70% of the snaps. That's rough in a season to lose. So Christian Wilkins, I think we have enough depth to make up for it. Now, a lot of these guys are young. Yes, Jonah Lalu, second year. Talking Hemingway, first year. JJ Pegues, first year. Trevin May, I'm not sure. Zach Carter, not sure. Tank Booker, first year. So a lot of questions on the defensive line. That's really one spot that I want to watch going into camp. Who steps up, right? Who's eating up the run? Because last year, that was our biggest problem, is stopping the run. If you can't stop the run in the NFL, it's game over. It's game over, right? It opens up play action. It opens up slants. It opens up, hot routes. It opens up so much more when you have a running game, which I believe we should have a damn good running game this year. All right, let's get back to this. Is there anything I need to know that y'all saying? Hello, my brother. Appreciate you. Got to that. Prickly and prickly. Las Vegas Raiders look like a good team. I appreciate it. Yeah, sorry for Raider Ryan's loss. But let me know, out of these cats, if you got to take 6 out of these 10 guys, and I guess I'll pull it up real quick. Actually, man, y'all should know the Raiders roster already. Come on. But out of those guys, I say Christian Wilkins, is a lock. But if he's on IR, then somebody's taking that spot. So if he's on IR, let's just assume Christian Wilkins is on IR and we got to keep 6 defensive tackles, right? My 6 would be Adam Butler. Definitely Jonah Lalu. Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, Tank Booker, and I don't know, like I said, much on Maven, on Traven or Zach Carter. I got to do a little bit of work on them when I get off this live, possibly. See what I see on these guys. But yeah, those, that would be my 6. That would be my 6. But I would possibly, if it was me, why the hell does it keep going away? All right, there we go. If it's me, I'm possibly just keeping 5, like I said, just keeping 5 defensive tackles with Tyree Wilson, being that swing guy you can put all over the line. Just to open a spot for guys like Jafari Harvey, that I've talked about a lot on this channel, that I think is going to do big things with this team. If he doesn't make the team, I hope they sign him to a future contract or something. I think they have. No, I don't know. I got to look at the signings. They might have already. I don't know. But Jafari Harvey. And then you got guys like Ja Joyner. One plays left end, one's on the right end. I believe both these guys can play both positions. So that's why, if it was me, I would take 5 defensive linemen and have Tyree Wilson as the 6th defensive lineman. So I could keep Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Ja Joyner, and Jafari Harvey. I believe those will be the 4 guys. I know Zach Carter, Andre Carter, like I said, had flashes last year. I think Harvey is just is faster. Probably doesn't have the experience, right? A little bit more raw, and I think that's what they're looking for. Guys that we can bring in, that we can develop in the system, that can stay Raiders. You know, we talked about it last Thursday. Unleashing Addiction, shout out with the dollar with the 99 cent. Holla. We talked about it last week. The fact that Tampa Bay Bucks have 43 players on their roster that they drafted over the last couple years. 43 out of their 53-man roster the last 2 years were drafted in-house players. That's what Spytech is trying to build here. That's what Pete Carroll is trying to build here. That's why I believe guys like Andre Carter II, you know, Leaky Fatu. Who else did they bring in? Lackey Tassi, like I said, I think is moving to the offense. But I believe, you know, those guys could possibly not make this team because they want to develop these guys. They want these young bucks. So if that's our 6 guys with Christian Wilkins on IR, if our 6 guys are Adam Butler, Jonah Lalu, Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, Tank Booker, and Tyree Wilson, to me, that's a solid defensive line. That is a defensive line that you can keep guys fresh. You can constantly sub guys in and out. You can have packages, you know, instead of 3 or 4 packages, you could have 5 or 6 packages for certain situations, key situations. That's a lot of depth. And then, of course, you know, you have the battle between left defensive end, right defensive end. So those are the names I'm looking at. Young guys on the defensive line. When it comes to the edge of the defensive line, who's going to be that guy behind Max Crosby? Right? Max Crosby was hurt last year. He was hurt the year before. He's been injured every year. He plays through it most of the time. Last year, it bit him, you know, taking all those snaps. There has to be somebody that steps up like a Malcolm Kuntz did. We have to have a guy. And I don't know if it's Tyree Wilson. You know, the drop-off between Max and Tyree Wilson, to me, is just too big of a gap. Positive necessary. So I need a guy, if it's me personally, I need a guy like Ja Joyner, Jafari Harvey, to step up and be that guy that's quick, that's powerful, that can get to the quarterback, that can, you know, attack the run game, slow things down in the backfield. We need those guys. Snowden, you know, has shown flashes of that, but he's also had problems off the field. And to me, that's a big problem. When you have guys that are in prison for taking people's lives because of drinking and driving, and you still have guys like this on the team, to me, it's not a good look. But I, you know, again, believe everybody believes, you know, a second chance. So hopefully Charles Snowden can clean shit up and he can be that guy, because he showed, like I said, in the preseason, he showed flashes throughout the season that he could get to the quarterback, that he could stop the run game. But still, the drop off to me is pretty far between Max Crosby and Charles Snowden. And I think a guy like Ja Joyner, you know, is going to step up. It might not be week 1, but it very possibly could be week 1. Ja Joyner stepping up, taking that number 2 spot, right? Then you have Oge Afahu. I think that's how you say his name. Don't know much about this man. Again, haven't found much film. I'm gonna go look again. Write that shit down too. All right, so homework for me. But yeah, man, I need to go check out these guys. I just see an uphill battle. Maybe he makes a practice squad. But when you got on the other side, Malcolm Kuntz, you got Tyree Wilson behind him, then you got Andre Carter, and you got Jafari Harvey. That's a nasty right side. That's a lot of guys that can get to the quarterback, that can change a game, that can put pressure on them. And maybe some of their problems are, they're not an every down player. You don't have to be, right? When you have 4 guys like that. So to me, my defensive line, like I said, edge-wise, I believe it's Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby. I don't think Tyree Wilson should be on the edge. Like I said, he should be that swing rotation guy. So I'm going Ja Joyner, and I'm going Jafari Harvey. I think both these kids make this roster and make an impact this year on this team. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, but, let me know y'all's thoughts. Most important, right? Overall, who steps up when the pads come on, right? When the pressure's on, when the lights come on, when the cleats hit the turf. Which one of these guys continue to thrive, continue to make strides, continue to prove that they deserve to be on the field? That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking, at Max Crosby. I'm hoping Geno, can be that guy to run this system. All talks of him being a top 10, top 6 quarterback to me is wild. You've never won a big game. I don't know how you can put a quarterback in the top 6 against quarterbacks that have played in NFL playoff games, that have won NFL playoff games. You have Justin Herbert down there at like 8 because he's failed to win the big game. But you have a guy like Geno at 6 who's never won a big game. I don't understand it. I don't know how they do this shit, but I'm hoping the quarterback situation is solidified. I got a question for y'all at the end. And how long I've been on? And then I'll probably dip. An hour in a day should be good enough. So, who's gonna be that guy? Who's gonna be that guy to step up? We already know, we've already seen Darian Porter, what he's done, what he continues to do. He continues to impress. Hopefully some film comes out, today of OTAs. Again, OTAs drop. We have a next, couple of days after a long 4-day vacation, Memorial weekend they had. Hopefully these guys, come back in better shape, ready to go, not lagging, no bellies full, right? And get out there and get after it. So I'm hoping to see all that. But the question of the day, and this is going to be the pinned comment, and then we might do a live about it because this probably could be a whole show. The talk of Geno Smith being a top 6 quarterback. The fact that Pete Carroll has said Geno is an elite quarterback in the NFL. Now, we can look at all the stats. We can look at the numbers. We can look at the completion ratio, the quarterback rating. We can look at all that. We can also look at the fact that you had DK Metcalf, one of the best receivers maybe in the history of the NFL, right? A speedster, a guy that has the muscle to win those 50-50 balls, who can break away, just throw it up. He's going to go get it. Then you bring in a guy like Smith. So the question of the day, what I'm saying is the fact that Pete Carroll believes that Geno Smith is an elite quarterback, the faith that he has in Geno, the belief that he has in Geno, could this possibly be a bad sign and a downfall for the Raiders? Here's why. If your quarterback comes in and struggles, 21 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, 6 fumbles, we've talked about it, has to change. You have to protect the ball. They say this guy is elite at decision making. They say he is an elite pocket presence quarterback who had 50-something sacks last year. Blame it on the offense. Blame it on what you want to. But to me, a quarterback in the NFL that has elite pocket presence doesn't get sacked 50-plus times in the NFL. I don't know what Kool-Aid y'all drinking, but it's spiked more than mine, and I don't even drink. But I've been sipping the Kool-Aid, but not this much. So could this be the downfall? If Geno struggles off the rip, does Pete Carroll just continue to go with Geno Smith? With that, I'm out. Much love. Appreciate y'all joining me tonight. Hit that tickle the notification button if you haven't already. Hit them likes on the way out if you haven't already. I appreciate everybody rocking with me. Again, tickle the notification button to turn it on if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We are out. Have a